Hello and a very good afternoon to you. I'm Rachel reporting live from Kalkine Sydney studios, and it's lunchtime here, time for the mid-market pulse. The Australian shares were trading near day's high by afternoon, led by gains in blue chip tech and mining stocks. The domestic market followed overnight gains on Wall Street as investors reacted to the latest Federal Reserve minutes, which revealed that the US economy is bouncing back from a Delta variant slowdown and is poised to accelerate in the coming months. The benchmark index, the ASX 200, was trading 57.4 points, or 0.79% higher, at 7,329.9 by lunchtime. The index opened in positive terrain today and gained as much as 0.9%, tracking firm cues from Wall Street. Meanwhile, US stocks ended mostly higher in overnight trade after minutes from the latest Federal Reserve policy meeting were released overnight. On Wall Street, the S&P 500 ended 0.3% higher and the Nasdaq surged 0.7% on a tech boost. The Dow Jones ended flat, dragged by JP Morgan, which fell amid concerns about loan growth. Back home on the sectoral front, 9 of 11 sectoral indices were trading in positive terrain. The information technology sector was the best performer, rising over 3% following overnight gains in their US counterpart, the Nasdaq. The tech sector was followed by materials and REITs, which rose almost 1.5%. Amongst others, healthcare, industrials and consumer discretionary also saw a spurt in buying activities. Bucking the bullish trend, the energy sector emerged as the biggest loser, with a 1.2% loss so far today. The utility sector also witnessed selling pressure and was trading 0.4% lower. In other news, on the COVID-19 front, New South Wales daily cases dropped to 406, while it reported 6 deaths in the last 24 hours. The state is going to ease restrictions early next week as it's set to hit its 80% fully vaccinated target this weekend. Meanwhile, Victoria's case tally hit an all-time high of 2,297 and 11 deaths. It's the highest single-day total recorded by an Australian state or territory during the pandemic. Now, despite the rising cases, the state government is set to soon reveal details about the next phase of eased restrictions when it hits its vaccination targets. Let's take a look now at the top gainers and losers by the mid-session trade. Top gainer on the ASX pack was diversified financials group Netwealth. Their shares surged 8.9%. Some of the other top performers were infant milk formula player A2 Milk Company, mining business Perseus Mining, superannuation and investment platform HUB24, and software firm Wisetech Global. On the flip side, retailer Redbubble topped the losers chart with a 12.7% loss so far today. The other top laggards were real estate investment trust Viva Energy REIT, coal miner Whitehaven Coal, wealth management company AMP, and oil producer Santos. Let's move on to stocks that created a buzz on the ASX today. First on the list is global online marketplace Redbubble. They dropped over 13% in their shares by lunchtime. The share price dropped after the company reported disappointing earnings in the September quarter. The gross profit dropped 34% to $42 million, while revenue fell 28% to $106 million. Earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation and amortization plunged 85% to $3.9 million. The company had a cash balance of $109 million on the 30th of September. The company says its financial performance improved from July through to September and reiterated on the financial year 2021 outlook statements it provided in August. Well, now it's time for a very short break, but stay tuned for some very interesting news on CSL.
Tune in to stay updated while on the move.
We will tell you where the crypto craze has reached,
Where the property market is headed next.
what the world is doing to become more environmentally friendly.
Apart from tracking the daily market charter.
Be on top of the latest news and announcements
With Kalkine TV.
Welcome back. I'm Rachel Jones and you're watching the Mid-Market Pulse. Now, biotechnology giant CSL have seen their shares surge over 18%. The stock got a boost after it confirmed it will continue making the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine in Melbourne until early next year. The healthcare firm said in an exchange filing that it has already made 20 million doses of the vaccine for Australians and for those in the Asia-Pacific region. It further stated it would complete its 50 million doses under its contract with the Australian government by early 2022. Now, earlier this week, Chief Executive Paul Perreault had said the business was not focusing on making its own COVID-19 vaccine in-house at this stage, as billions of doses of Pfizer and Moderna vaccines are now flowing globally. Moving on to another company, shares of vitamins group Blackmores rose 1.5% after they released their annual general meeting voting packet to the ASX. The meeting details revealed that its board was chosen to include some details of its strained past relationship with former executive chairman and major shareholder Marcus Blackmore. Conflict has been brewing ahead of the company's annual general meeting. The conflict is over the appointment of board directors, with former National President of the Pharmacy Guild of Australia, George Tambassis, making a tilt for a board seat. Now, the Blackmores board has told shareholders they should vote against the election of Tambassis, arguing he's gone through the interview process for board selection twice and on both occasions was unsuccessful against other candidates. Moving on, shares of mining giant Rio Tinto rose over 1%. That's amid reports it's investigating the use of biomass to substitute coal in the emissions-intensive steelmaking process. The development came in the backdrop of rising pressure for Australia's largest miners to tackle the huge carbon footprint of their customers. Following several years of lab research, the nation's top iron ore exporter says it's begun testing the patent-pending process that combines raw plant matter with microwave technology. This process is done to remove oxygen from iron ore and convert it to metallic iron. Moving on, in goat milk infant formula player Bubs Australia extended its rally for the second day, and their shares rose 6% by mid-session. The stock price has surged after the company reported sharp turnaround in the first quarter. Bubs sales almost doubled to $18.5 million in the second quarter, while group revenue rose 45%. China sales increased 156% on the prior corresponding period as the company recovers from COVID-19 lockdowns. It also posted positive operating cash flows. Well, that's all for today's Mid-Market Pulse. Stay tuned to Kalkine TV for more live reports and interviews. I'm Rachel Jones, signing off.